Hello, Commanders. Automatic Gamer here, and the 2026-2027 NFL season is just a few months away, and also the 2026-2027 NFL schedule for each team in the NFL has just been released. So I figured in today's show, let's go over the Minnesota Vikings NFL schedule for the 2026/2027 NFL season and figure out where we will be at the end from week 1 to week 18. So let's get into it with week 1. Now, week 1 for the regular season, it will be week 1 at 3:30 Central Time against the Green Bay Packers at US Bank Stadium. Now, for this game, week 1, 3:30, perfect timing for a game at US Bank Stadium. Amazing for home opener. But I didn't expect it to maybe be a division rival because a lot of people were saying, okay, to start things off, it's going to be a little bit simpler game, maybe against the Falcons or the Panthers or against maybe like a team like the Dolphins or the Giants. But yeah, no, it's first week 1 up against the Green Bay Packers, huge division rival. Like last year, we started out against the Bears. And don't worry, I'll get into the Bears in a second here. But yeah, going up against the Packers week 1 at US Bank Stadium. It's going to be hopefully really good and interesting atmosphere. And also, we still need to, fully figure out who's going to be this week 1 the starting quarterback for week 1. Is it going to be Kyler Murray, or are we going to throw in J.J. McCarthy to see how much he's improved? Although we do know for the Green Bay Packers, obviously, they're still going to be missing a few pieces because they have a couple players that are still dealing with injuries, which still sucks. But, don't have to worry about Jordan Love because he's going to be doing great. And, of course, Packers still lost pieces on defense, on offense. Still got players' injuries, which, yeah, but they did add pieces here and there in the draft, but to definitely fully shore up their defense. But the main weakness of the Packers is a little bit on their offense with the quarterback of Jordan Love because he plays really inconsistent football. So if we can apply pressure and make him make hard decisions and not have the greatest windows, especially with a Brian Flores-led defense, that will definitely, hopefully, swing the game in our favor. And obviously, yeah, Jordan Love, he doesn't throw them a lot, but sometimes he is prone to throwing interceptions. So if we can use that and the atmosphere to our advantage on our home turf, I do think for a game like that, it could be 1-2 really good that can open up the season against the Green Bay Packers, our biggest division rival for the Vikings, being obviously led by J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray. You got the best wide receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson, Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores-led defense, and just, yeah, overall, you got great pieces on each part of the team. So, Packers game, I would say that would probably maybe be a win in my books. It's really hard to determine because season hasn't started yet. But yeah, for week 1, I'm going to give them a win. And week 2 at Soldier Field against Chicago Bears at noon Central Time. For the Bears, obviously, last year we had an opportunity to sweep them last year, like we did with the Lions, and we didn't do that because obviously Bears made that last minute field goal to win that game in week 11. So hopefully we can correct that mistake at both Fields, US Bank, and Soldier Field to hopefully correct the mistake and hopefully sweep the Bears. Obviously, we know Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams have definitely transformed and rewrote the Bears' story to obviously be a much better team, even though they don't have DJ Moore anymore, which kind of is bad for them, but they did shore up everything on their offense with everything on the defense. Good run game, good offensive line, passing attacks, really good. Obviously, Caleb Williams doesn't have DJ Moore, but he's still got really good amount of receivers. So, that secondary, I think our secondary is definitely going to have to play some really damn good football. And I definitely think they will because obviously we drafted a corner in the 7th round, which was honestly really good to see. We got two, or no, three corners that are definitely really good in James Pierre from the Pittsburgh Steelers and Isaiah Rodgers and Byron Murphy Jr. So that's definitely a really good, solid group of cornerbacks especially in this Florida system for our secondary to help shore it up with 4 corners. So I think that'll definitely benefit us a lot with a really strong secondary, but also probably maybe the second or the first, number one best defense in the NFL, being us. Obviously, maybe behind the Texans, and then it would definitely be for the top defenses. I would say either us or the Texans are number one. Us or the Texans maybe tied for first. Either I would put us at number 1 or number 2, and then maybe the Cleveland Browns at number 3, in my opinion, for the top 3 defenses in the NFL. But yeah, that could definitely be a game that can, yeah, determine a lot of things for definitely the first 2 weeks of the season, going against the Packers at our home turf and then going on the road to Chicago and hopefully beating them. So, yeah, for that game in week 2, I'm going to give us a win. And week 3 at 3 o'clock Central Time at Tampa Bay, facing off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that heat in Florida. Facing off against my second favorite, my dark horse team in the NFL, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And obviously, I know they don't have Mike Evans anymore, but they did acquire Bane from the NFL draft, so that's really, really good. Another weapon like that to add to the team with Baker Mayfield. But yeah, the Buccaneers, obviously, definitely one of the best teams in the NFL, and definitely could be in a competitive division, being the NFC South, given that how that will go. But I'll get to the division breakdowns in a little while as we get closer to the season in August, so stay tuned for those videos. But yeah, for the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously Baker Mayfield, incredibly good quarterback. Got a good tight end in K. Dotton. You got Ibuka as one of the great wide receivers in the NFL. Obviously, they shored up their offense, shored up their defense. They got pretty good secondary. I mean, it's definitely one not to be messed with. Obviously, added guys in the draft on the offense and defense, and I think a little bit in their secondary. So that's really good. Obviously, we added pretty much all physical players in the draft. You can check out that video. I have it on my channel where I went over the draft on everything and my thoughts on it. I think it went really well. But yeah, for the Buccaneers, obviously, they're used to the heat, and it's being played in Tampa Bay in Florida. So Baker Mayfield is definitely going to have a good day in that heat. But also, yeah, for the Vikings, it's still hard to determine on who would win these games, because obviously season hasn't started yet, and well, I'm not usually one to predict who's going to win or lose. But yeah, for this game, even though we have a strong offense, really strong defense, great secondary, good special teams unit, for this game, it could go either or. It could be either a win or a loss, because obviously we know Baker Mayfield is one of the top best quarterbacks in the NFL. So, I mean, if we lose this game, I wouldn't be surprised. But honestly, if we won and went 3-0 to start the season, that wouldn't surprise me either, but both would be surprising. So for this game, I'm just going to say we're 3-0 and we win this game. And for week 4, these guys are coming to us at our field, US Bank Stadium, facing off against the Miami Dolphins. Last time we played these guys in Florida, at 3 o'clock Central Time, facing off against the Miami Dolphins, week 4. Now, the Dolphins, obviously, we know where they're at. They're they blew everything up. They're in a rebuild. Traded away a lot of their players to save up on cap space. Obviously acquired Malik Willis from the Miami Packers, Jeff Halfley from the Miami Packers as the new head coach, and got their new GM as well. Obviously trading away one of the best wide receivers in Jalen Waddle, Denver Broncos, for a first and fourth round pick, which isn't great on their part. The only good weapon they have, they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, so that's going to hurt them a lot. And I mean, it's just a rebuild season for the Dolphins. So the only weapon that they have is obviously Devin A. Channon. Obviously, if you don't stop him, he'll just pretty much run all over. But that would be the only thing I would be worried about in this game, because obviously I think our defense and our secondary can easily take care of Achane, even though it is being played in October, so it's not that cold out. So the Dolphins will definitely have a chance in this game, even though if it was in December, obviously I feel like the score would be something like maybe 80, Minnesota Vikings 80, Dolphins 0, but I could be wrong. It might be 70-20 like it was for the Dolphins and Broncos a couple years ago, if you guys didn't see that game. But yeah, Dolphins, I mean, I'm going to give them a loss here. Vikings win this game 4-0 right now, and reason because Dolphins are just, they're figuring themselves out, trying to find what identity of their team that they have is right now. So Minnesota Vikings, you get a win, you're going 4-0 on the season. Then we got to travel to New Orleans, Week 5, against the New Orleans Saints at 12 p.m. Central Time. Now the South, NFC South, obviously not the most competitive division in football, but I think definitely could take a huge step up next year, especially because the status of Tyler Shook and what he's been doing for their team right now. And obviously, we know Tyler Shook. I mean, it was an interesting story. It was going to be an interesting storyline going into that season where the Saints acquired him as a quarterback, and obviously, he's been taking a few steps. He showed some flashes here and there. I mean, either way, if it was either J.J. McCarthy versus Tyler Shook, I don't really know who would win that battle. If it was Kyler Murray versus Tyler Shook, I think it would be Minnesota Vikings Kyler Murray. But I mean, I think this also depends on how much Tyler Shook has improved upon from where he was last year into the offseason, and then where he goes from then on. So, I mean, obviously, Saints, I know they're usually can be a feisty team, and especially can be a pain in some opponents. So, I mean, Saints could really put up a fight. I mean, I do think, yeah, they will, especially in the South, because sometimes it's kind of hard to play in those environments. But I mean, yeah, for this, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to win, mostly because I think we got better weapons with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, better run game with Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, especially with that run game coordinator that the Miami Dolphins gave us. So that'd be awesome to see. Brian Flores led defense, but yeah, I'm going to say Minnesota Vikings, you get the win for this week. Now at 5-0, week 6, obviously that's our bye week, which is same as last year, which isn't bad. It's an okay time to rest, but if it was me, I would say I would rather have the bye week maybe at some point during week 9 or week 10. That would be my suggestion for a bye week, but that's our bye week. Can't complain. Good time to rest if something goes wrong. And then week 7 at 12 p.m. At US Bank Stadium against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts, obviously, I think they are bringing back Daniel Jones, so we got to go up against Indiana Jones if he's got back from his injury that he sustained last year. So, I mean, yeah, the Colts obviously had a really good storyline going for them last season up until the middle of the season, and then things kind of fell apart from there. So, I mean, he hopefully won't get hit by a boulder when he plays against us, but I could be wrong because, I mean, for me, the Colts, I mean, even if they do something like insane like that heading into these later weeks for the season for the Colts, I mean, I think they definitely can be good. I mean, even in the AFC South, I mean, biggest team definitely in that division is the Jaguars and the Texans, but still, I digress. The Colts, I mean, they yeah, they're a team who's like, well, after that, we still gotta figure things out and then add some things here and there if we're going to be contenders for the AFC South division and everything like that. I mean, and the Colts, I mean, if we got shut out 40 to nothing and then came all the way back 45-0, I think that would just be incredible to see and, well, make it another large comeback in NFL history. But yeah, for this game, I'm going to go with a win. So yeah, Vikings. Right now we're at 6 wins in total. Although, like I do mention, if we split with maybe some of our division rivals, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose a few games here and there. And maybe week 8 against the Lions at Detroit at noon Central Time. At noon Central Time, 12 o'clock next week for week 8. I mean, if we lose, I wouldn't be surprised. So, but I mean, it was definitely surprising last year that we did shock the world and sweep the Lions in week 9 and week 17 last year. Granted, Jared Goff was playing some really struggling football. Obviously, David Montgomery not there on the Lions anymore. Let's go. So that's great. We don't have to deal with him anymore. He's on the Texans. He's on a better team. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you still got to worry about Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously one of the best running backs in the NFL. Lions definitely have weapons on their wide receiver group. They have a good defense, probably not as good as ours because obvious reasons. But I mean, yeah, secondary for the Lions, it's pretty good though. The defense isn't the greatest in the world, obviously. But here's the issue with the Lions, or maybe the weakness of the Lions. Head coach Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down. Like, I mean, I thought Mike McCarthy was bad as a head coach, but maybe Dan Campbell might be worse. But that's just my take. So yeah, I mean, if Dan Campbell can control himself and not go for it on 4th down all the time, but let's be honest, he will. And usually gets the Lions to run into some problems, and that usually ends up with them having a huge weakness and can sometimes end up costing them the game. So for this game, I'm gonna give the Vikings potentially a win. I mean, if we can't sweep them this year like we did last year, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to our rivals. But right now, I'm just gonna give us a win, most because you never know with Dan Campbell because of how aggressive he is with a team like the Lions. Then you got the Bills week 9 Monday Night Football at 7:15 prime time at US Bank Stadium. So the Bills, obviously last time we played, if you guys don't remember that game, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen battling it out. It was 33-30. Vikings win that game, the game of the year, and it was just a phenomenal game at Buffalo. I mean, but obviously some of the regime has changed. The Bills, you definitely got to worry about Josh Allen as one of the best elite quarterbacks in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this game. So one of these games, I'm going to be maybe marking a loss here. Definitely for maybe our division rivals. I think I'd still be iffy on that one. This game, I feel like we could definitely win if we can stop and contain Josh Allen with our defense and our secondary, and also stop James Cook in the run game to make sure they don't get anything on the ground with James Cook and in the air with their wide receiver weapons that they have. So, I mean, our defense has to be locked in and our secondary has to be locked in if we want to win that game. And if it's, either JJ McCarthy or Kyler Murray, they're going to have to do something huge in order to beat a team as good as the Buffalo Bills. So, Bills, I could maybe see it being a win, but it also could be a loss. So, that one, in my opinion, is up in the air. But if we win or lose, again, it would just be awesome if we won like we did that last time in 2022. So that one up in the air in my books. Week 10. This time we're at Green Bay at 12 p.m. Central Time. Facing off against the Packers for the second time in the year at Green Bay. So for this game, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we split with our division rivals. But this time they may have some of their players back from injury, like Micah Parsons and all that. So that may be a little bit of a hindrance for the Vikings, especially in the cheese-filled land of Green Bay, going up against our division rival. So if they won against us and we split with our division rivals, again, I wouldn't be surprised. So it could either be a loss or a win. I don't really know how to determine if it's a division rival game, because division rivals, you never know what's going to happen with games like that. So, I mean, for these games, I'm definitely calling them a toss-up, but I pray we do sweep our division rivals, or maybe at least one person in our division like we did last year with the Lions. But Packers, definitely going to be a really good, fun game at Green Bay, Wisconsin, because obviously Jordan Love, hopefully Micah Parsons is back, and almost all those guys are back from injury, and hopefully no one else on the Packers or any squad gets injured. But I mean, for this game, definitely could be a really good defensive shootout, especially if Micah Parsons is back on the Packers, because a defensive battle is sometimes one of the most interesting things in the NFL. Like, if it's a low-scoring defensive fight, you never know what's going to happen with games like that. So, for this game, I pray we do win, so I'm maybe going to mark it as another win, but I'm going to give some of these a toss-up, because divisional games, you just never know. And then in week 11, going to Mexico City at the San Francisco 49ers at 7:20 p.m. Central Time. Sunday Night Football, week 11. San Francisco 49ers going up against Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Obviously 49ers beat up team last year, but their head coach, he knows what he's doing. But I mean, for the 49ers, last time we played, it's pretty simple. It was pretty simple to beat them. Granted, they did make a little bit of a comeback, so that was a little bit of a problem there. But I mean, we ended up taking care of business against the 49ers, and hopefully we can do that again this year with the 49ers, because we just need to hold the 49ers up on their quarterback, and on the ground and in the air with all of their running backs and weapons. And Jordan Mason is returning, so hopefully he'll run over the 49ers and score them a touchdown to his former team, so that would be great to see. But the 49ers definitely got a lot of good weapons on offense. Definitely a really good defense there too, so don't underestimate them, especially with all of everything that they have. So that's something to always be concerned about, to never look past with the team, because obviously usually sometimes if they're beat up, they can really still put up a fight. So that's definitely a bit of a shocker, but definitely something that's really, really good to see and notice, especially how they're head coached. So 49ers, if we win, that would just be incredible with a Jordan Mason touchdown. So yeah, for that game, I'm gonna mark it as a win. I haven't said like fully any losses yet because I can't really determine on who would beat us or what would be trap games. Maybe the Colts game, perhaps, but maybe also our division rivals because you never know with those. So that would be a couple losses. Week 12 going up against the Falcons on Sunday at noon versus the Falcons heading up back to US Bank Stadium. Hopefully, Bijan Robinson doesn't run all over us. We got to stop him. And the Falcons now having Tua at quarterback, but also still having Michael Penix Jr. at QB. Who knows who they're going to play going into that game for Week 12. I'll just feel kind of bad if it's Tua because of the whole concussion thing, but if it's Michael Penix, that's a little bit better in my opinion, just because he hasn't been hit in the head that much. But yeah, the Falcons, it kind of just, the team for this year is going to kind of come down to quarterback. So yeah, like our team, the Falcons, I don't know what to expect between who's going to be their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa or Michael Penix Jr. So yeah, for this game, I do feel like it's going to be a win because I think with our defense, it's going to be able to contain anything the Falcons throw at us, if it's in the air or Bijan on the ground, in the ground run game. So yeah, Falcons, I think that's going to be a win on our part. Panthers, week 13. At 3:25 Central Time, week 13, going up against the Carolina Panthers. Against Bryce Young, definitely a quarterback who has seen, I think, a lot of improvements from where he was drafted from where he is now, and obviously, he's got guys like Rico Donald. Obviously, they won the South last year, even though they did have a losing record, but also they still got guys like Rico Donald, Hubbard, some of the best guys in their run game is some of the best in the NFL. But Panthers, they did definitely do a lot of things to improve on themselves. Definitely going to be giving Bryce Young to see if he's going to end up being their guy, and definitely adding some more pieces on their defense and offense. So yeah, for this game, definitely going to be a really good battle. But yeah, I mean, for this, some of the NFC South opponents, I am kind of wondering if we could lose to some of them. Biggest worrisome would be the Panthers or the Bucks. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to any of those two teams. So yeah, for this game, I'm gonna mark it as some of these games. Yeah, like I'm mentioning, are still very much to be determined. But yeah, I'm just gonna mark it as a win or to be determined just to play it safe. So win in my books. And then week 14, we face off. We go to New England and face off against the Patriots at 7:15 p.m. Central Time, Thursday Night Football, prime time, against the Patriots, or the Fraudulents, because they proved that they were frauds in the Super Bowl. Now the Patriots are going to have a tough schedule. First place, obviously, in the AFC East wrongfully, because they proved themselves that they were frauds in Super Bowl. Drake May, most sacked quarterback in playoff NFL history. So yes, he's a fraud and he knows it. And obviously, there's a lot of issues going on with the Patriots. Some of their fans and some of the media is ripping apart Drake May and Mike Rabel and all that drama that's going on with the Patriots. So I wouldn't be surprised if that turns them into a sort of a disorganized, dysfunctional organization this year. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to the Patriots. But yeah, last time we faced off against them, we did end up winning. Granted, it was a bit of a closer game. So hopefully this time it won't be a close game at all. Hopefully, it'll just be something simple like a 30-3. Vikings 30, Patriots only 3 points, or Patriots with hopefully no points. But yeah, for this game, I'm going to give the Minnesota Vikings the win, and mostly because Drake May, I could see him struggling against our defense. I know it's being played in New England in their atmosphere at Gillette Stadium, but I could see the Patriots struggling in that game. And mostly because it's definitely our defense and our secondary. One of the best defenses in the NFL is us, probably number one or number two, like I mentioned, but definitely secondary is, I would say, maybe top 5 in the NFL, in my opinion. But yeah, Drake May, he's definitely going to hopefully be ran over with our defense and secondary and special teams. So, Mr. Vikings, you get the win over the Patriots. Now, week 15 on Sunday Night Football at 7:20 p.m. Versus the Detroit Lions again at US Bank Stadium. So yeah, for this game, if we lose to them at their house, obviously wouldn't be surprised because yeah, division rivalry. But when it's being played at our house, US Bank Stadium, it's a way different atmosphere. Like I said, for each team. But yeah, the Lions obviously incredibly, their head coach, Dan Campbell loves to take risks. Obviously, no David Montgomery, so that's just I still love that he's gone. Now I just gotta wait for Dan Campbell to leave at some point, and then their team to be totally dysfunctional like they should have been. But yeah, the Lions facing off against them again. Hopefully, we can pull off a sweep like we did last year, where Jared Goff threw like 7 or 8 interceptions last year against us, and had all those turnovers and fumbles last year. So yeah, I mean, if the defense can replicate what they did that last year on that Week 17 game, this game could be a heap of fun going up against the Lions, given Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs problems, and especially all their weapons, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, problems with our defense and our secondary and special teams could definitely be the turning point in a game like that. But I mean, our offense can definitely be explosive. We just need to figure out the perfect guy who's going to throw the ball and be under center. But yeah, I think the real turning point in a game like that would be our defense and secondary and special teams. So yeah, I'm gonna give this game potentially a win to maybe sweep the Lions, but if we lose to our division rival and don't sweep them like we did last year, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's either a win or loss. I'm not certain yet because it's a division rival. Week 16. To be determined. Week 16, Washington against the Washington Commanders, going up against them at US Bank Stadium. Obviously, last year we shut out the Commanders 31-0. Jane Daniels obviously struggled a lot, even though the Commanders did add a lot of pieces at protection for Jane Daniels, so hopefully he doesn't get injured or hurt like what happened to him last year. So just hopefully he stays healthy on the Commanders side of things. Obviously, they got a really good head coach in Dan Quinn. And, the Commanders can definitely have a good explosive run game on the ground and good weapons like Terry McLaurin in the air. But also, their defense it sort of lacks a little bit sometimes here and there, but usually it can be good. So for this game, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get this win. But that's just because the Vikings, I feel like we can take advantage of, I feel like the openings in their defense and in their secondary to hopefully operate our offense a little bit more efficiently than the Commanders. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a shutout like it was last year, because that was just shocking that it was a shutout, even though it was J.J. McCarthy under center. But I still think also for J.J. McCarthy, he will develop a lot more this season than where he was last year. So I still think that J.J. McCarthy can be our guy. So Commanders, I would say Minnesota Vikings get this win for this game. And then Week 17, at MetLife Stadium against the Jets. Sometimes they say these could be trap games, and I'm not blaming them for saying that in the media, even though it is at MetLife, and a lot of teams get problems going up against that stadium and that team. Not that team, just the stadium at MetLife. But yeah, the Jets, obviously, we didn't play him at all last year. The year before we played him against Aaron Rodgers, he played some really bad football, threw a lot of interceptions, but also the Jets now underneath Aaron Glenn, trying to prove that he can stick around there. But who knows if he's going to, given that how last season for the Jets unfolded, and right now, obviously, they just acquired Geno Smith to be their new starting quarterback for the Jets, so that's not an upgrade for the Jets. But yeah, for this game, I'm just a little worried because it's in MetLife, and usually things unexpected happen at that stadium, at that field. But yeah, for this game, I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get hopefully a simple win on the Jets, just because our offense, defense, secondary, and special teams is a lot better than what the Jets have, even at their offense and quarterback. Even if it's J.J. McCarthy or Kyler Murray, both. Even if it's either of them playing up against Geno Smith, I do think J.J. McCarthy could easily beat him in a game like that. So Minnesota Vikings, you get this win. And finally, Week 18 to be determined against the Chicago Bears. And by the way, the Week 17 game is Sunday, 12 p.m. Central Time. And finally, Week 18 to be determined. Chicago Bears coming to U.S. Bank Stadium. Again, this could be a game to figure out either the division or fighting for a spot in the playoffs like it was a couple years ago. I was at that game against the Bears Week 18. But yeah, this game could go like similar to that, either where we're fighting for the division or fighting for a seed in the playoffs, whether if it's the first, second, third, or fourth seed in the NFL, or the fifth seed, or something like that. But yeah, for this game, going up against the Bears, hopefully we can get a sweep on them this year. Even if it is J.J. McCarthy, maybe in both games he'll pull off something shocking like he did in that first game against the Bears last year. So that would just be incredibly awesome to see, especially up against Caleb Williams again, and Ben Johnson being a really good mastermind head coach who has transformed the Bears and will definitely still be a really competitive team heading into this season, especially within the NFC North, probably the most, if not the most competitive division in the NFL, other than maybe the NFC West. But yeah, for this game, division rivalry games, you never know. Maybe I'll give the Bears the win on the first time that they play at their house. But yeah, maybe for this game, I'll just give it a win for the Vikings because it's at our house. So if we split with any of our division rivals this year, that would not be surprising. So our record, in my opinion, should be if I did my calculations correctly, it should be maybe a 12 and 4, a 13 and 4 record, or a 14 and 3 record or 13-4 record in my opinion. So I could be wrong on these calculations, but I mean, that's football, and you never know what's going to happen with these games. So yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of this in the comments below. If you guys want to talk more football or anything else with me, subscribe to my channel and join my Discord. The link will be in the description. And I will see you on the football field, Commanders.